When anything went awry, the basketball community was anticipating another WNBA day. Newsrooms and fan organizations were. There are many whispers. The purpose of the planned surprise press conference was unknown. The mystery was compounded by the names of Stephanie White, head coach of the Indiana Fever, Lexie Hull, and Sophie Cunningham. These weren't your typical league players. They stood for talent, initiative, and a strong bond with the game. Nobody knew what might happen. Nevertheless, their shared gaze suggested that a significant event was about to take place. As the journalists assembled, the environment grew tense. Cameras were pointed. Faces displayed a mixture of enthusiasm, and pencils were prepared. And anxiety. The majority of individuals anticipated a charity announcement or possibly a team update. Instead, as soon as the three women came in, they went cautiously, had serious attitudes, and the atmosphere changed. It's obvious that this was not an ordinary occurrence. At 2 initially, the main topic of the discussion was seldom mentioned by Caitlin Clark. Moniker was mentioned by 3 women. Caitlin Clark, who rose to fame in the sport right away, it was meant to be a festive occasion of her debut season. She had inspired youthful admirers, shattered attendance records, and exposed herself more and more. Every week, her talent and enthusiasm on the court make headlines around the country. However, it became clear that there. 4 weeks, fans had been witnessing Clark perform with her typical intensity, and as the session went on, they learned more about her tale. Shots scored important goals and advanced her team, but a closer examination showed a few minor alterations were noted. The athlete who was always grinning while playing appeared to be more restrained. In particular, the audience kept applauding when she moved a bit more slowly following challenging rounds. Clark, meanwhile, gave more subdued answers. These gaps were filled during the press conference. The speakers used straightforward, yet effective words to convey the demands of Clark's first season. There have been other games. There will be more travel and less leisure at Clark's ability due to the league's excitement for its new hero. The collision raised strong defenses. Teams played rougher, made her work more for every point, and pounced on her twice. Every night, in addition to the league's top players, she had to handle increased responsibilities, created specifically for her. For someone with such little professional experience, it was a huge challenge. Experience. However, the physical difficulty wasn't the main attraction. The presenters gradually revealed how Clark's ascent to stardom came with an additional cost. They turned their attention to the mental and emotional aspects. She suddenly became a women's basketball representative. Every action she took was observed, debated, and contested. She appeared in interviews, commercials, and highlight reels. She was adored by her fans, but there were also detractors. Every error was reported. Every moment spent away from the court was nevertheless closely examined as the women discussed the consequences. The meeting room was silent. Clark had a full schedule each day. However, there wasn't much time to relax between games, travel, and media appearances. The pressure was continuously applied. She carried the burden of high expectations from her area, her team, and supporters across the nation. She grinned for the camera while discussing Clark's medical care, but the news became much worse. Gloomy. When Clark's health was discussed, the speakers revealed that, although they respected her privacy, with lack of precision, Clark had been suffering for a few weeks, playing against more seasoned opponents. Fierce rivals in each case. The night's physical cause was cumulative. She had suffered from ailments because she didn't want to disappoint her club or the league, but the cause was become too important. Those that were close to her began to worry about her well-being. The moment the 3 women came together as comrades was the most dramatic. Instead of adversaries, Clark has faced Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull. Stephanie White served as their coach. When she was a rookie, they came from varied backgrounds, but they had one thing in common: it could. The seriousness of the situation should no longer be disregarded. They demonstrated that certain concerns were more important than winning or losing by being in close proximity to one another. There was more to talk about than merely Clark's difficulties. There were also questions about the league itself. Celebrities like Clark have contributed to the WNBA's rapid growth. However, its systems had fallen behind. Players kept using commercial aircraft on occasion, arrived to games, exhausted and sore. There was little time for relaxation in between games because of the physical demands on Athletes and ideas expanded in step with the volume of media attention. The league needed to supply additional assistance in exchange for whatever it had earned. The speakers raised awareness without placing blame to these problems. They want improved player assistance, better timetables, and a stronger emphasis on health. And the declaration, the decision appeared to be apparent. It was essential to honor its stars rather than merely applaud them. To the future of the league, as the press conference came to a conclusion, they triumphed. At last, the truth was revealed. That numerous private discussions between Clark, coaches, and medical experts resulted in a decision. Caitlin Clark's playing schedule would be altered for the remainder of the season. She would truly miss some games if necessary, play for shorter periods of time, and allow yourself more time to recuperate. It was challenging to make the decision. Despite her wish, everyone agreed that this was the only way to safeguard Clark's future. To engage in court play. Everyone on stage, including Clark's rivals, agreed with the choice. They were aware of the risks. For the league and its supporters, Clark represented hope. In addition to being a participant, it took more to keep her secure. More than a single season, it has to do with the sport's future. When doing this, it was a statement from the league. The players' welfare was a primary concern as they left, despite difficult circumstances. The press conference. The media and fans understood they had witnessed a turning point. This was not just the tale of an athlete. It was an appeal for women's sports reform. The bravery of Hull, White, and Cunningham would never be forgotten. They had defended a friend, a rival, and a teammate. They had demonstrated to the world that genuine leadership necessitates assistance. Others, even when it's difficult. The future would be altered for Caitlin Clark before she could go back to her best version of herself. She would have to wait, recover, and unwind. Her travel would be closely observed, but with greater thought and understanding. As of right now, it was hoped that she would return stronger and more prepared to motivate a new generation of athletes. The discussion had just begun, but the press conference was over. Fans, athletes, the coaches began discussing what needed to be altered. There was more pressure on the league's executives to develop more advantageous circumstances for each athlete. There are highs and lows throughout Caitlin Clark's debut season. We will be remembered for the time when the sport chose to prioritize people over anything else. I'll leave it here. The comment that it has to do with women's basketball's future touched on more than simply Clark. I put an end to the future. Stars will be valued and the league will expand slowly rather than quickly. Safeguarded. The day concluded with a call to action and a promise for something bigger, but it had begun with doubt and captivating music.